coming over, and the other was not under the pope. So Easter happened, 2,000 years of history at least. Meantime, Carlomagno, one of the great that basically crowns.
The goats. Second.
Simpson. Backhand.
Fue encontrada en la ciudad de Luxor, en el Biden State. La esposa.
C'est pas des reines, juste le coupelle et la belle-mère dans le fils de roi. Elles sortent dans le
They have frozen means this.
prophet. See? That's the goddess. That's the goddess, the goddess, not the glorification. Check out the goddess. That's the highest soul. The bride can see his hair and the whole thing, and that's his wife to the left, Thoya.
交钱这个比较恼人。
Look at the beautiful statue here, the bust of Abraham. What the picture of Isaac is young man with the
بص بقى الثقافة يا باشا
你可能的不需要你的太阳升高给他们，就是包括他们的视频，我都不是。
This is the real song. This is the main song which was discovered at Islam in
别撸。Ah, sim, sim. I have a YouTube channel.
I like to check video on my own. Look at right here. Where is my notes? My note.
And that was the way from the steps up to now.
Adel.